What is up? This is Greg Gillis of Girl Talk, and this is Billboard.com. I think the shows over the past even 4 years have just been continually growing. So it's been an effort the whole time to like make the show more appropriate for those, both musically and visually. So, you know, I do feel like back in the day the shows were a bit more like improvised, and I would kind of freestyle it, and we'd figure it out, and more raw, like stuff would be unplugged, and that was kind of part of the show, and it'd be fun. Whereas anymore, I think the show is, you know, I think at a festival and at these bigger shows, it's a bit more orchestrated. It's still like I still play the music in the same exact way, I still trigger all the samples by hand and all of that. But I think the material, it's like when you're playing last at a festival on a stage, there's like not really so much room for like subtle music. Not that I do subtle much in general, but on a record there is, to me, some more low-key moments and things like that. But at a festival, it's like you kind of have to just be really aggressive and really blunt with the way you do it. And I just think the show in general just amplify everything. Anything that we would do at a club, just kind of go bigger with it. And like I said, it's like here versus a show at a club 3 months ago. It's not like night and day, but to me it's more of like this general evolution of just ideas. And I feel like we have an arsenal of things we can do at each show, and then depending on the size or what we can do there, we'll make the decision on how much stuff we want to do. And for me, it's like, it's a bit different than a normal band where you like put out a record, then you tour on it, and there's maybe no progress made on another record. Whereas for me, it's like every day, like the show's such an important part of the whole thing that it's like we make decisions and changes. So it's always like, how can we keep the show building? And you know, even like today, you know, wake up this morning and work on stuff for the show tonight, and it's like every day I work. So I'm not ever thinking about the next album really until I start to make it. So yeah, just worrying about the shows, and now it's kind of like right into the full festival mode, and you know, all festivals all summer long. So yeah, just trying to come up with new material for that. It's like I did a US tour 3 months ago, so when I play Chicago, Lollapalooza now, I want the sets to be distinctly different than when I played here 3 months ago, which is difficult for me to do. It's a slow process. So that's kind of, you know, what I do full time, is like, you know, it's rarely like making big plans. It's like, what can I do for tomorrow, sort of thing. I played with Wiz Khalifa 2 nights ago, and outside of Rochester. We've played together a few times, but this is the first time like since he's fully like blown up. And I've been a fan of his from way back, like 2005 when I first heard of him, and I used to go to the shows back then. And it's funny because Pittsburgh was always a city that like never had a major hip-hop presence and as far as the mainstream goes, and now it's kind of like a big, you know, blooming hip-hop scene, and it's like there's so much stuff coming out of there. So I love this song, and you know, it's a genius song, so it's a great pop song, but it's gonna be played forever in Pittsburgh. Like during the football season last year, it was just like everywhere. But they did go to the Super Bowl and lose, so like, I don't know, some people might associate it with like maybe it's a curse or something for the city. I don't feel that way at all, but no, I don't think that will happen. I think for football seasons from now until like 100 years from now, that song will be playing, you know? It'll be 2099, and there'll be like this old classic, like you know, it's like, listen to, like, it's like Take Me Out to the Ballpark or whatever. I think that's what it will be for like Pittsburgh football for a while. I like it. Like, I always like to represent the city, and I feel like other bands, most bands from there do that. It's like, you know, Pittsburgh doesn't necessarily get that much like national love for the music scene. So it's like when you have some success, you want to shout it out. And it's cool specifically that, you know, Wiz Khalifa was into that as well. And I like bands that do that for wherever they're coming from. You know, Bone Thugs or like Cleveland, I always thought that was cool. And yeah, Wiz did it upright. Sometimes you see some of these artists, you know, blow up and then they just never mention that city ever again. But you know, it was cool. His breakout single like was all about referencing, you know, the city he came from.
Stop the party. Hey, I don't